I think when I'm in the financial markets, to explain more things. You know more about how the economy works, because it's related to politics. It involves every part of society. So I can explain the economic aspects of benefits. I will understand that. All these disputes, it's a small thing. I can explain it too. It's a family. Arguing can also be for the benefit. When everything is explained, I find life is light. Today we are. Come back to me on the subject. The way you've given your life to the stock market, like I used to trade with you. You also taught me a lot. When you're done investing in understand stocks, a lot more about and life. You don't just make money in stocks. Other areas such as immobility, crypto, and real estate, you can share. I've only invested in stocks before. Your personality is also different. I also have the personality of Vietnamese. It means we judge others. Comment from a personal point of view. It's nothing. But after a while I invested in stock. It's what the stock market taught me. You shouldn't bring your own personal views in all things. Look at a stock exchange or a market in a state of being the fairest faction. Then I'll see what happens of each stock, or what the market was like at the time. What happens is psyche. It's not tilted to one side at all. Increase or decrease. And the same knowledge of securities. That's me. It will explain all of that. It's about the cash flow. Find an investment opportunity in another area, as real estate or crypto. Why did the stock market teach you something that I shouldn't? Put your own subjective opinion in. It's all because I lost. When I put my personal perspective in, then I impose my own thinking. The market isn't. It doesn't work according to your thinking. It's based on how the market works. That is, according to market demand. A lot overall of the constituents in the market. All the investors. It creates the general psychology of the market. Common psychology. It can go with his psyche. Or maybe it coincides with my psyche. At a certain point in time, when it's against our psyche, we act. It will be wrong and lose money as a result. When we lose, we have to learn. Gradually I dropped the idea that put your mind into the market, even though you're a very conservative person, and it's kind of patriarchal, because I am also the oldest son in the family. It's relatively patriarchal. There's a good part, and there's a lot of bad parts. But when it comes to the market, I can't be chief anymore, because if it comes out, it's said you lost money when you invested. Or there's a situation where we find a good stock. I want to buy it too, and if the market goes against its will, I think the stock is good, it has to rise. And when it goes backwards, it causes discomfort. When I think it's going up, I told you I hate it. So that's what I'm talking about. Right, apart from the problems. You see the stock. There are some. What rule is it equivalent to the whole life? I think it's securities. With life, it is also a human life. Even with a single individual, it also has a stage. Stock, it has human cycles, it also has cycles. Each stage 1. Why do people keep saying stage 4? 9 years BA. That's the stage where the position rotates. One stage has to go to another stage. Health, about many things. That's the cycle. Later, the more you study it, the more you see that it's like human life. In short, it's sometimes called suffering. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's hard. It's also a cycle. In the stock market, it's a cycle. It means a business. It also has a cycle when it's established. A knowledge accumulation cycle. It's a time of accumulation and until the recession. If I can't find a new one, then it goes back to the past. That's right. It could be that the business is in a state of firestorm. Many businesses have ever. The wind in the Vietnamese stock market, of typical as Vinamilk. It took a lot of years. There's been a bit of a shift in terms of branding, but there was a saturation cycle before. It's that demand is reaching its maximum. It's got to have a new product. Or if there is new competition, the demand is limited. In particular, there is a weakness. Vinamilk is now the birth rate, but it's reduced. And there's a growing demand for powdered milk. For children, things will also be limited. If so, then vitamins should switch to milk powder for the elderly. That's a good thing because that's the aging trend. Calcium or magnesium supplements, and milk is the trend. I can give you more details. Since the day I learned about stocks. That's your way of life, your thinking, and the way you're learning. How does it change? I actually found out too. It's called a stock investment. How to make it closest to my whole life. I also want to make sure that it goes well. Naturally, my life needs balance. It all needs balance. For work, for investment, for fitness and sports, for the family. I want to be balanced so that I can stay fit. The health thing. How much time do you spend in the stock market? If If it's really, you spend time thinking about the stock market, a lot, even during training, but do what I can. It's not about focusing too much on the stock market, where I have to keep a close eye on each session, one by one. It also affects family life. It means doing something for yourself. Prepare the category for the fluctuations of the market. In a short time I was traveling. Or do something that I don't see. It feels normal. Your portfolio is very safe. Is fair balance sheet, and you're fair. It's about financial health. It's also very balanced and wonderful. That's right. You're headed for that. Generally speaking, is that you achieved what you did? How many years did it take? Let me get what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm satisfied with. After 2 years, number 1920, the COVID era, that's when there was a breakthrough. Invest in crypto. Then I found one. It's a financial product called That's emerging. The biggest turning point. Make a breakthrough. Free to be in your investment. It doesn't depend. Administration. It doesn't depend on the administrators. In the board of directors. That means it doesn't depend on people. It depends on the system. In the faith of the community. It's slowly turning into an asset. In year 2, not it's 19. Still very primitive. But you know in Bitcoin do COVID. I also see that it has nothing to do. I haven't experienced a COVID translation ever. The crisis is beyond my expectations. I don't have a history of one. It's called a disease. So it is. Making money in securities at that stage is worse than everyone else. You are focused on that. Learn about crypto. You see the opportunity in at there. That time, you allocated more That's Bitcoin. Right. It takes about 2,005. The moment you said you had the freedom you want, it took about 14 years. Over the course of 14 years, the market I can see. It's like life. It can't be for fast. Me. Your speed is. It's terrible. If you're calculating performance, I think it's better than life. I noticed. It's the financial market. How it changed your life. I think when I'm in the financial markets, to explain more things, you understand the operation. The economy is more because it's related to politics. It involves every part of society. I can explain the economic problem. It's called the benefit aspect. I will understand that everything. This and that dispute. It's a small thing. I can also explain on the side of benefits. It's a family. Arguing can also be for the benefit. When everything is explained, yes, I see it's gentle. I think it's about you getting married. What does it have to do with? If you explain it from a stock market view of the market, married, I think the most important thing for a man, because it's a turning point. The wife is the one who goes with her all her life. My son is only 18 years old, or at least 22 years old in Vietnam. After college, he has to grow up. It must also be independent. It will be independent as soon as possible. But parents must also love their parents. Everyone has to be kind and think that their parents will leave. People that stay with me the longest can take care I take care of the wife. The tools. In the past, it was a bit of an understatement. Later, I found it more important. Thinking about deciding to get married. It's very important. It's kind of like picking stocks. When you get married, you are persistent. When I love you is very persistent. And I feel that personality suitable for me. When it comes to investing in stocks, you're less likely to choose the speculative option. There are periods where it has to be very special. Find the head, but you're headed for what's sustainable. I saw you. How long does it take you to be persistent? I saw her for about 5 years. But it's also got a lot of thunderstorms in general. There are black swans as like volatile as the market. I basically had nothing at the time. If you have no knowledge, it is limited. The work is not spectacular. When I saw her, I had a lover. You have a lover. On the face. The owner has no door. I come from my own sincerity. Then you just go ahead. By all means. I just want to play normally. Although at that time, maybe I still can. There are other relationships. When I met you, I felt this was what I needed. It's a hunch. I don't understand why. But when we first met, I feel like this is the one I need. Since then, you've taken care of that. If you read like this now, the laws of the universe, I felt at the time it was like a rule. I think it's very appropriate, just by feeling. I haven't even been able to say anything. I are the ones I need. And that's why I think that's a major goal. It's sort of like categorical It's still allocation. A beautiful category. If people can be okay, or people get married, if people don't like me, I have to find another category. It didn't mean you'd found her. Pursue it until the price is right. Right. You're not a reasonable price. I think it's a market opportunity. It's a market opportunity. That's when it's technically malfunctioning. Comrade lover and his wife. That's the crisis of the market. I see that. Well, and the chance that it comes along. It's also that's what my opponent called me for. It's called advice. That's advice. Accidentally, just naturally put me in a position. I really didn't expect it. That's the opportunity. I didn't expect it. You've put all your strength into it. Then you're determined that you called the end. Within a month and a half, 2 months. Married. You see, I'm very determined. It's kind of like the swan thing. Black on the market. I don't know when the black swan happened, but it doesn't happen. And I have preparation. Like you 2 years, not you 19. Can buy Bitcoin. Right. Not many other people are rich because then don't you happen to sell off the stock. It's buying a lot of cheap property. COVID is a lot of people. It's an opportunity. But without no preparation, you can't do anything. Right. If, for example, I don't follow the market. It's like his wife. I don't come often. For example, when I see that people have a lover, surely those opportunities didn't come. I still come often. I still care about it. It's like your portfolio is always there. It's because you know it's the governing factor. The value of the business can still change. The direction. People change. Is it suitable for the whole country? Not your investment project. I also have to review. It's my category. Not that I believe absolutely into the business. Maybe it's when there are changes. It can be very good, or it can be very bad, as I see it in the past, and other brothers and sisters. When you're looking for a stock that has confirmation from someone I trust, for example, this teacher, or you just need your confirmation or mine. I jumped in. I can buy it, and I don't care. It means that I think the teacher is good, or you can give a good review. I don't have to care much anymore. Is it dangerous or is it wrong? If you don't have that, you have it because you also have your idols. You also have your teacher, a teacher, but actually a friend. It's called investing together. From people's point of view, I feel like they just gave me the stock. For example, there is there are changes, for example, then I feel confident. Act according to your own personality. It's not the plan people make. It means that, with that person, the treatment is very good. People are ready to prepare. If you're wrong about people's principles, but I only know in a very small part. If I keep it that way, I have also lost money. So that's what I think everyone's got. It means that, when you listen to others, I can trust people in part, but I always have a backup plan. For example, listening to a teacher, there's always a backup plan. In case it doesn't go according to people's opinions. Backup plan is ready. Like you now, you have no notion of hearing. I didn't hear any AI. In this financial market, I don't trust anyone, no matter how much money they say they have. I don't believe it. There's no reason to believe it. They say everyone has a purpose. So, I don't believe those things. Even with stocks or something that's put up. We all have to analyze. Maybe it's a source of information, but I identified the news. How to confirm that information? I have to personally assess my perspective. And now you've got sort of AI. It's not hard to find out. The angles of AI even offers more perspective. There is no reason to believe even. It means that AI is now coming to life. I feel so fast and strong. And the AI investment market also has a certain advantage compared to those who do not use. I think now without AI, it's definitely outdated. People just don't know how to use it. People don't know how to apply commands to AI. When the result is common, and people haven't if they can fall, they will surely not follow. And you see you're very efficient. It means that there are now people who are using effective AI. Outside of life. Apply AI to the investment. And both businesses applying AI and governance and operate it. They are also much more effective. Business does not use. Now I think many of you are at the same age. He's having a baby. The school age is college or just out of school. With your knowledge of the market, that's financial. Apply it in what I do. When teaching children, what are the rules you are applying? It's a little difficult for children because of each person's own personality. Like your son, he can't get his head around. What I want is that it is free. It has to find its own self. He's a speculator, for example. It's also very normal. But I'm just looking at management. It's not speculation or investment. It has to determine the win-lose ratio. For example, if you invest, your muscle is to find that business. It's easier to increase the probability. It's harder for you to speculate. There are people. People are suitable. Speculative personality. I think it should be according to speculation. This morning I was in the community. Smile asked me to. And it turns out that after about a month, she uses who she found out is your speculative personality, about 9 to 5%. The investment rate is only about 5%. It's more rational to follow the speculative method. See fit and good governance. It's still profitable. And in keeping with its personality, it's only temporary in a phase. Not sure. Your personality in life is It's about choosing the option. Whether it fits is another matter. That's right. There may be people can both speculate and invest. People are very sensitive. One is that people experience a lot. The second is that people's minds are very discerning. Between the speculation part and the investment people can still manage it. But that's one of the hard ones. I can't give you a few cases. That's typical. Personally, I still follow both. It's a very reasonable time for you to speculate. If the probability of winning is then I speculate, or I can afford to lose at a low rate. If not, we will continue to invest. Another aspect of the market that I see, aspects that psychology and people, you can go deeper. The psychology of the market. Can I have a psyche outside of life? I think the psychology of the market, it's going faster and see more clearly. In fact, they say market psychology. It's the psychology of the crowd. It creates the mind. Market management only. And there's me in there. In real life, it's the same, but it's just development. It's not content, it's slow. So people don't analyze the mental process very well. But in the market, it happens all the time. So people analyze the psychology right away. For example, when the market moves up, suddenly it's exciting. People are pessimistic. It's a mental process that's constantly changing. I have a job in real life. The mentality can't change that fast. People have data. People have a slowdown. Then the mentality is very slow. People rarely analyze the psychology in real life. Look out. That's a lot of my personality in real life. Into the market, it's amplified very dramatically. For example, when I see another stock run harder, or another industry that's trending. For example, the hill over there is greener than I am, and even the stock market in real life. Sometimes you guys are usually in real life. They want to go into the stock market. How do you see this problem? I think that the nature of the market attracts investors. The creator himself. They also want to attract investors. I think the price increase is the most important. A field in which to attract investors. It's all about making things go up. Even real estate, even crypto. It's all from the waves. Maybe the area. It could be the kind of. It could be a stock in the market. It creates heat if. The whole market, it's a movement. The FOMO is even worse. Of course, it's people who have no knowledge. They will want to enter the market. It's because people can't control greed. The nature of cheese. It's always in any market. So that's inevitable. The best way to prepare for every market, I think it's knowledge, and the sooner you experience it, the better. This market cannot be avoided. Not one time will be another time. It means that we are greedy for the opportunity with industry. Other people's jobs are inevitable. Even in real life, you can't help but be a very talented person. Then people can give that up. But for the most part, I think it's inevitable. The market is now about 1,006, 1,007. My prediction is that a lot of market goes 7 is a lot of new people. And it's the new people who will do the spinning. There continues to be a source of demand. Let the old people sell it. If there is no new person, I think the market, it's hard to create new peaks. Yes, when it is the old one, it will be sold to the new one. Of the law it is like that is supply and demand. But the people are ready. They are called old. There must be new people on the bridge. It's called the bow. It seems like the same. It means a profession. That S after a lot of competition. Right. In any industry, high profit and high profit margins. What time? Let that business, or that kind of business, being long is difficult. The special nature in Vietnam. It's very fast because it doesn't count as copyright. And number 2. You don't have an invention. It's a matter of losing something very quickly. The rate at which profits high is that it never lasts long. If there is no special advantage, return to the market. The state account increased 7% continuously. I have to be very careful for 2 weeks. Right. That's right. Especially in the coming period. If there are things, you have to be very careful. It could be the new cycle, and then it's over. Of a cycle, it's going to be a long time. I remember it's been 4 years. That's not the old peak. Wave to 0212. These two are super speculators, especially at the end. It's a speculative state. And the second one is valuation of some businesses, especially the real estate beyond the investor's imagination. So, the thing that shuts it down is longer in real life. If you see a profession, they tell you they're making a lot of money. Are you in? According to you, judging by your own knowledge, even the industry, for example, or a field, for example, that is sun industry as well. When it's hot, I'm usually very cautious. I think it's hot in the present. The future will be difficult, especially if it's moving as fast as it is now. It's not that adaptability matters to a hot industry, then I must have the knowledge to judge. See if it's long enough. When you are in such a state, we have to manage by the participation rate. Can still play, still participate normally. It can be tried, but don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. The only way is if you have me. There is no better way. Buying the top is not as scary as buying the bottom. Buying on the road is more dangerous. If you buy the top that you allocate reasonably, don't mind. That means you're going to judge the trend. If it's still strong, you can join it. The potential of the trend is still strong. As specific as the crypto sector, I think the scale is small. Despite its potential, I don't mind the price. I could be in an investment state. I shouldn't guess where the top is. I'm involved at any point. But if I feel the potential of the industry's capitalization is low compared to its potential. It's purely a personal assessment. But if we do that, we will allocate money at a reasonable level, step by step. It's like you invest in Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin's grown a lot from almost nothing. At that time, I remember, it's over $3,000. But see, after each cycle, the community it grew up in, you are not too deep in technology, but you judge in the direction. It's an asset class or a stock. He wants to prove his ability, then it has to go beyond the old peak of last season. Then you're relying on the old top. Or not, the old bottom. You join the year 2019 as you see. Bitcoin fell. Is that it doesn't puncture the 3,000 But before zone. That, it was 20,000, and then it dropped to 3,000. It went back up to 14,000. When it comes back to the bottom, it doesn't puncture the 3,000 zone. So it turns up and you start buying it completely. Face technical model, but you don't. The technique is too short. You see the pattern. If it is a broken property, it will break, or it's got to find a new bottom. But if it doesn't puncture like that, it's like the wave of 2008. When it comes down, 200 BA 5 points. It's a very strong attack of 2.9. Then it doesn't break the bottom 200 BA 5 points. That's the bottom of the market. It's your experience watching the market. Technically, I feel this is an opportunity. I think it's a young asset. Along with the technology, it meets that requirement. Then I can join. I see that you be decisive because I remember being at the bottom. Is the news. It's the same with Bitcoin on Stone and securities. I remember when I was to 2.2. The people guess that. You don't have to go back to the 300. At that time, I thought Vietnam's economy was That's when I had to look at technology. You find the bottom from engineering. The principle is to lift the bottom. What proof do you want to prove? If you want to confirm, you have to go beyond the old top. There's a lot of money coming in. More and more organizations. It can do something where the bottom is softer. When Bitcoin was at 20,000 down to 3,000, and is the organization so the bottom will be deep. The adjustment rate it will be high. Year to without a 2. The adjustment rate is lower than the whole year to not 1089. A property. There will always be a new bottom. There will always be a new peak higher than the old property. I can tell you when the new top will be higher than the old top. The new bottom must be higher than the old one. And if it's lower, I have to consider it. It means that if we go back to life, there will always be a part of my life where it goes down. But I'll try to do the bottom. It must be higher than the bottom. That's right. How good are you at talking? How well do you talk? But through the crisis, you'll find it's more mature. The property is better, or its intellectual value is also better. Then it shows its mettle. What if, after the Great Depression, it's more concentrated? What does it say that doesn't have much value? A business too. Not listening to people. But I still have to see my actions. My results. For example, right now I care a lot. Vinamilk and Sabaco shares. See these two businesses. It's proven its brand before. And after a very long time, it's gone down. The administrative part and the internal part started with a change. To find something new. I'm interested in these two stocks. According to you, should not be. So, I think in terms of branding, for example, it should be the number one brand in Vietnam. It doesn't count foreign companies like Heineken or Cut. And Vinamilk. Milk Day is also That's number not to be missed. You are also watching, but I'm waiting to see the real change. It's coming from the brand. But you have to make a profit. First quarter of Sabaco and Vinamilk are lower than expected. If it's really good, it has to reflect into the profits and into the revenues. I can't say it's a good thing I can bet, right? Or, it's brand number 2. You can bet a small amount to see. It means that if it's reflected in real profits, then the price has increased a bit. It doesn't really matter. The price goes up and you are willing to buy it because you invest in the future. Right. I saw the real report. How big is its transformation? if the price goes too far. I also missed it. I actually think it's in investment. The stock is ignored as much because more and the more you see what the buffet says is true. The opportunity I missed was not every chance I have to catch Theo. That's hard. Give me a choice of two. I will definitely choose very carefully. But in the stock market, it's easy to choose. So people are willing to jump into the test call. Maybe you don't like it when you always sell to give another chance. Not to mention tea. If tea is not, later on, people can change. In the day always. The more choices there are, the more transactions. In the direction of investment, we have to choose it reasonably. And less trading, it's a job for 9. More than 9 jobs out of life. It's good to see other professions, and I want to get into the field. It's the same as the stock market. Right, in real life, you can't see it. There is evidence. This is where people see the price increase. So, it's a big emotion. Why the speculation at popular? Because it is. It hits the emotions. But humans are essentially emotional. About 90% is emotional. It's not rational. People mistake it for reason. That's why we have to have governance. But if not, you yourself have moments of feeling. But the thing is, I'm slowly coming back. It's a long process when I'm not involved. And with that opportunity, I feel like I'm missing out. New friends are definitely going to get those. Then you've got it yourself. I can't avoid that phase. With the stock is to get involved as soon as possible. When you're in there looking at a stock, I saw it go up and I couldn't buy it. I'm sorry. And I tend to take revenge. You have to buy this one and put it in the catalog because I aimed it before. But if I were you, I would ignore it. Beyond your expectations or your plan, you ignore it. And a lot of people play along the line. It means to see a stock in that line goes up. You can find the stock in the stream. And the same sometimes. It doesn't happen. We still say that looking at children is like looking at a thing that sees a milk tea shop eat up. I could open a lemon tea shop next door. But it's dead. Right. What stock do you see in that investment? It can go through the cycle. What properties it can go through. And in real life, those who will achieving financial freedom. It's actually hard because it's cross-site. It's also one. It's very special that the things themselves. People expect the super cycle. It's also typical of what people think it is. Through the cycle, it usually doesn't happen. What happens is you. I'm not a special person for you to find. So that's why you find a way to manage. So, you're governing by being. If I meet my expectations, I will sell. Any property like that, it should not be expected. It's through the cycle in the black swan. Or in the cycle, I can't know all the variables. To influence the business, all of these factors can't be read in advance. There's no reason. I guess through the cycle, it's still judging from my personal point of view. It's about putting your personal condition. It makes more sense to agree with the market. There is the, when I find a business that's okay, there's something wrong with the cycle, then I can still accept it. But you have to be content. And I don't think we should look for the trend cycle. The cycle also has a relative nature. It's not a cycle. It's an absolute. If it's absolute, then AI also sees out. It doesn't become the cycle it creates is psychological. Maybe before it breaks down, it must be extremely exciting. It never has to create a climax before it can break, including any one stock. If you haven't created a climax, the broken thing will not be heavy. Let's say we found a good business. I appreciate it's a cycle of decline. The economy is in a recession. That's not much at the market. At the peak, I should also sell less. They should also sell less. Especially in Vietnam. It's not a market. It's new, not young anymore. Business growth cannot be disrupted. It's the Vietnamese corporate governance. It's called full openness. Open all taxes. For example, can there be competition? That's a big question that I can't answer. So, I don't see a reason for me betting on a stock through the cycle. And if anything, the business is real. It's called utility. Utility hydropower, for example. If I can buy a cheap one, I will accept. Let me eat the dividend. If you don't find a good selling point, I can let it go. There are businesses that we call growth. It is not determined to cross the cycle. It means you always manage first. You put the manager first. The manager. That's what it is. It's what it is. You still have that principle. Maybe it's a little too mechanistic. Your personal It may not be suitable for everyone, but I also learned a lot. That's the management principle. It makes people survive. The stock, I think, survives. It's more important than how much profit. There's got to be growth. Of course. But at least we have to survive. It means you don't think you're special. Not like you. About BA 4 years ago, I'm very confident in my own abilities. I believe that even in difficult times, I will still make money. And I didn't believe in the difficulty. It can be delivered to me. But when it comes to his life, he's drowning. I am a very normal person. Since I met you, and I started moving on to the fact that I'm with you. I don't guess the market anymore. Even smile, I see the change in my community. Wave, I'm more interested in the fact that I have no more predictions. I am sure I am a normal person, and in good times, we accumulate for times that are not favorable. Later if it happens, because I actually said you were a piece of shit. He said that people who have no knowledge or are non-experts, you should only invest in ETF. For example, in the US, it's the people only invest in ETF. Trade by type. Separate shares are few. That's how it won the market. Because the distribution of people simulate the indicators. But that metric is that it can be simulated. It's because of the change. The stock is in there. It's not fixed stocks. So that index is going up in the long run. It can still beat inflation. That's still a win. That's in America. And you see in Vietnam, maybe it's a little difficult. It's not that hard. In fact, the 2022 BA is. The fund won more than the individual investor. But there's something about it. Creating trust for investors. People still want to participate because it's a job in Vietnam. But people can still have their own time. Let people trade. It's not as professional as a foreigner. For example, people have been trading here for a while. Then they lost 7. I'm sure people will go to the fund. I don't think there's any reason not to go to the fund. In a long process, participation, that if it doesn't work, people will withdraw. It means a long-term life trend. In a business or I invest, I'm not effective. There will definitely be trends. I'm looking for an expert in that field. Thanks to advice and advice. According to the characteristics of the consulting Vietnam and the brokerage thing, Vietnam's stock market is evolving. What do you think is still foreign? The thing about brokers isn't working. The zero fee is soon. With the AI now and the automation. In the US, it also has Robinhood and Wasted Zero. But what advice? It's still a process of personal development. It's still growth, but there's a choice. The consultant must be really professional. The script still exists. Now on the market is what the broker does. Buy and sell again. It is very popular. It will degrade, that's for sure. It will only diminish. It's impossible to popularize more related to knowledge. If it's more advisory, it's more about consulting than administration. When you use it, they also see it as a broker, something that provides basic information. It's not equal either. AI always in its perspective. It's not multidimensional like that. On his next growth spurt. So, what are the factors that you're still focusing on? Right now, I'm focusing on crypto. The property is young. You're still aiming for is the scale. Its capitalization must go to gold. Your point of view is still the young people's point of view. That is, young people are born. It's not tied to gold anymore. Young people are born with the internet. I was born holding the phone. Sure, there must be a property on the internet. I think the cryptocurrencies, it satisfies those things. Easier displacement, more flexible, to become a more dynamic asset. Hope, it's changing the financial position of younger people. Young people invest in gold. It is difficult to change the financial position. The last 15. If it accumulates, it has a breakthrough. That's it. After this breakthrough, takes a long time. Accumulated. It is no longer attractive. I miss gold. Accumulating it's taken 8 years to get this rate up. To get an X to boost. Right. It's actually a property. The older it gets, the longer it takes. So that there's a big price surge. The longer the cumulative time, the more valuable. It seems that if it comes down to life, with someone who wants a breakthrough, it also takes a long time to accumulate the knowledge of thinking. In terms of money, it's fully converged that we must break through. If you break out right away, it's like you're speculating. Sometimes I think I'm wrong. Your knowledge with the ability. Knowledge is not a possibility. Your knowledge is still limited. It creates the result. It's beyond my knowledge. It's called the amount that doesn't go with the amount of it comes in so fast. If your body doesn't change, the money doesn't work. It's easy to lose. And it's even more dangerous. If the next beat, it's an adjustable rhythm that I'm still in. For example, those of you who are still in the accumulation I don't have to be too pessimistic. Yeah, do I? I don't think it's too casual, but you soon find your way. My method, to be suitable for both investment and speculation. So I guess I have to ask the question. It is very convenient in Sand City now, so I can ask the question. Roll for a speculator. For example, with my personality
with
like
expressions
this,
like this,
or a professional speculator? What factors are needed? See if I meet the requirements. That's not.
At least.
Otherwise, I'd be involved in speculation.
If I lack it,
can I replace it with a personality like this? Is it suitable
Then I
for
choose.
investment? If not, don't join. It's not about losing money. That means even AI. Give yourself a chance to speculate. My personality is to invest. I shouldn't be involved in speculation either. I'm sure you have the key. It's not my ability either. People you buy. They can't sell you. That initiative is the minimum initiative. People always say it's because of your expectations. I sold it at that time. I just sold it and it's grown. Twice. For example, it's normal to jump because that's human nature. It's psychological. Nothing special. When I can't control greed, and I don't have the knowledge, it's hard to manage money. So, which brothers and sisters
Speculation
are involved?
according
You should
to
also
others.
know how to
Right.
lower costs.
Donations
Brother,
are always
investment
mentioned.
and speculation should
As
be
soon
lowered
as possible.
It's about being satisfied at any level. I manage at that level. No matter how much you take risks, you manage that level. For example, if you accept another 30% you may be willing to put down
can still
money,
take it.
and I'm still prepared to give you some money for the job. 30% off. If that's the stock, meet your criteria exactly. To end the day, do you summarize a message? For the brothers
Not
and
to
sisters,
advise people.
it's a personal view. Think that people, before entering this stock market, I have to prepare knowledge. That's the first thing. The second is to find the right fit. According to which plan to let have the strategy. Because the speculative strategy has its own strategy. Investment strategy, it has its own strategy. Speculation is looking for opportunities. Anytime I have a chance, I can join. I manage my money well. Maybe I can join. To invest, you have to have a long-term mindset. And if there's no long-term thinking, there's no discipline, there's patience. They can't invest either. I think the most important thing is to be. I thank you for donating and thank everyone. Then meet people at the next meeting. Between the community. Smile and I thank you for greeting everyone.